What's up, guys? This is Green Warrior 291. I'm here with MegaZero.
Hello.
Welcome. And today
Hello.
we're gonna do. I apologize for the lack of ReZero content. I kind of got completely hijacked with different videos, but I want to do a fun one today that was suggested by my friend here. What if we go through every single character of ReZero and find who has the best physical strength, emotional strength, and mental strength? Like, out of every character. That includes the Sin Archbishops, people from the past, which we might not even go over, considering that we know who's gonna win certain categories, more specifically. But this is more or less just a fun little discussion video on who has these three specific traits, and not one character can have all three or two. It has to be one for each, just so it's not like having, say, Reinhardt or Subaru just take, well, Subaru taking for sure one emotional or mental, or both, and then Reinhardt just taking physical. Like, it's pretty obvious that I want to separate them so that we at least have three people. But anyway, let's begin with physical strength. And this, I'm gonna make a rule here. This does not count with divine protections are out of this equation. So no one has divine protections to account for pure physical strength. And unfortunately, even with that, Reinhardt wins.
Yeah, no, that's really no contest.
And that's unfortunate because, honestly, he only wins it due to the fact that the author has stated before that even without his divine protections, Reinhardt is relatively the same amount of strength. So, yeah, he's pretty busted as hell. But to make it more fun, this little thing, let's go with who's the second physical strongest, because obviously it's so unfair that Reinhardt auto wins on that one. So, who are our contenders for second strongest?
Well, if it's a contest of strength, we always need to put in, just for the fact that, he keeps boasting about it, Garfield.
Agreed. Garfield, as Skyna said, he is the strongest. Well, he is like a shield, so it makes sense that you need to be strong to be, well, Emilia's shield.
And then we have Reinhardt's eternal rival, self-proclaimed.
Cecilus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Cecilus is pretty goated. I think, I mean, if he can at the very least be considered so-called Reinhardt's rival, I mean, he needs to be a good level of strength to be a contender for that.
And then you have the original
Reed Estrella. Honestly, if we're gonna go between these three, I think Reed has it.
I mean, considering what he did with just a possessed body, not even his own, kind of says a lot about him.
Yeah, and not to mention, he's the original Sword Saint, and that alone is...
Just because he's a Sword Saint does not mean he's technically the strongest. It just means that he was the most skilled.
That is true. But considering how much of a push he pushed Julius, who's pretty strong in his own right.
He's more of the precision-based character. Like, if Reinhardt is the sledgehammer, then he is the rapier. Like, Julius is like kind of like the rapier that goes for like the weak points.
Right. Hold on. If I'm not mistaken, didn't Garfield like read books in relation to Reed's like fighting style, and he kind of simulated it a bit?
Maybe it's been a while since I read that specific arc.
Yeah, I believe so. But all right? In physical strength, if we're going by these three, I mean, I feel like Garfield has it even without the divine protection. I mean, he does crazy shit on his own. But if we were to officially give second place to, who would you give it to?
I think then at that point, if we're not going to give it to Reed, and it's just between Cecilus and Garfield, let's see. Cecilus did kind of lose pretty badly to Reinhardt, even with having the third strongest technical human in, well, beast person in ReZero, our resident ninja.
Ah, yes. Hallible.
Yeah. between Cecilus and Hannibal, they still couldn't beat Reinhard. But Reinhard also is the one that was kind of training. Well, he was kind of messing with Garfield a bit. So I wouldn't even say so much training as it was he was messing with Garfield at one point.
Right. And even in let's add in the if roots, because even the if roots gives us information. I mean, Reinhardt has said it in the greed if root. Like Garfield has like high potential. So
yeah, if it's in realized potential, then it would probably go to Garfield. But as it is right now in the light novels, it would probably be Cecilus.
yeah. So there we go. Reinhardt's self-proclaimed rival is second. Is that not ironic then?
Yeah, the strength factor is pretty much clear cut.
But,
I mean, and we cannot count also our Archbishop, because that's just BS.
yeah,
That's all due to his gift.
yeah. Speaking of him, most people would say Regulus, but let's remember Regulus is a hack. Like he's not really strong. Not to mention, in one of my videos, he got punched by Subaru. Yeah, it didn't look like he got blown away like the web novel said it, but who gives a shit? He still got hit. But no, Regulus is more or less, he has hacks. That does not count at all. Not to mention, I mean, he easily dies without his little hacks. So, yeah, he can be thrown off. What about Satella? Would she even be strong?
No, it's all of her witch powers.
That's true. And we can't, if we don't add divine protections, then that obviously also accounts for other things. I'm forgetting the blue guy, Korgun. Oh, well, wait, no, Cecilus would be able to still beat him regardless. Nah, yeah, Cecilus takes second place. And we're only doing that because it's obvious that Reinhard was going to take this one, so... So we can move on now to emotional strength.
Which, a lot of people would think that it would not go well, when it comes to emotional strength, it has to go to Subaru. I know a lot of people would argue mental strength, but Subaru is a very emotional person. I mean, we've seen that time and time again throughout all of the arcs. He wears his heart on his sleeve. It controls everything that he does.
Now, we're talking about Envy Root Subaru. If we were talking about any of the others, then yeah, they probably would have taken mental one.
Yeah.
But, and plus, a character recently has taken mental strength for sure, but yeah, for emotional, it probably would go to Subaru. I mean, that is essentially what allows him to do the things he does.
Yeah, if he didn't have any emotional strength, then all he would have is just the greed Subaru.
Right, not to mention, that is the difference between him and Roswell, as he pointed out back in Arc 4. Like, it's the emotions they both kind of give off. One, like, more or less still striving to want to get the best ending, but without, like, crushing everyone else's hopes and dreams. While the other's more focused on, like, negativity, considering he doesn't like Garfield. No. Trying to think what was the right thing, where he kind of was trying to push Garfield a bit, bully him a little, considering that Garfield's whole mom thing kind of gets him out of this, because I mean that kind of screws him up. But since Subaru was gonna get one of the two, emotional or mental state, let's do it as well. Who gets second place in emotional?
It would be a little bit harder.
I'm thinking, considering that emotional strength is being able to keep that part, well, not that part of you in check, but more or less having the fortitude to handle things. I mean, wouldn't Emilia be a good contender for it? She doesn't understand emotions per se, but this is more of having the fortitude for it.
The thing is, though, her emotions are nothing without Subaru. So it's not kind of fair to put her as the second emotional strongest when that entirely relies on Subaru, because otherwise Puck controls everything and she is the same thing. Her emotions are just tied to Puck.
You make a fair argument. Alright then. I was gonna say Roswell, but I think he takes mental more than emotional.
I would say maybe Felt, because She,
She's dictated by her emotions. To a
yeah.
degree. I feel like she's a little bit grown over that over time.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think not to mention she is probably one of the few that understands Reinhard, because a lot of
And she has to keep him in line.
I don't think keep him in line is the right word. I think keep him honest with himself, considering that he doesn't have the best life, especially when everyone, well, they have respect and fear for him since he's the literal strongest freaking character. And also, he has family issues and all this and that. So he's like complete. Actually, he might be 180 from being the strongest here. He might be the weakest emotional strength.
Oh yeah, no, he pretty much feels like he can't come out of like the self-proclaimed cage that he got put in with the family expectations, his dad being a complete and utter kind of, you know, ass. And there's also the fact that he really he just lets his blessings do everything for him.
Right. Okay, so what about... I was gonna say Wilhelm, but I'm not entirely sure if... I mean, older Wilhelm maybe, but nah, Arc 5. Damn.
Yep.
Crush Arc 3.
Yeah, I mean, with after she got taken away with her memories, that kind of disqualifies her afterwards.
That's why I clarified. Crush Arc 3, I think she might just be the second one underneath Subaru in emotional strength. Since she doesn't let her emotions kind of dictate a lot of things. But yeah, that's what I'm clarifying. If we're talking about that version, then yeah, she's probably gonna be it. And I'll probably let her, at least that version, have it. Because current Crush, like, so far in Arc 5, at least what the anime's showing, it doesn't like show anything too different, but she's not the same though. That's the only hiccup about it.
Yeah.
But let's give it to Crush Arc 3, everyone, because that might just be the only one that can realistically be right close to Subaru in emotional strength. Now, mental strength, whoop-de-doo.
I'll let you take this one.
The shit that Owl has pulled in the latest Arc 9 stuff, like, fighting for like 4.5 months without stop, that's fortitude. That is absurd as hell. Yes, Subaru can endure stuff like that. It's specifically Pride and Greed Subaru, Ifruits, because both of them have done, like, died over 1,000,000 times. I am not going to say a number, because at this point the number is so arbitrary it makes no difference. But, no, this one has to go to Al, specifically because of the shit he's been pulling recently. Now, if we're not going to count Arc 9, because I'm avoiding spoilers as best I can. I do got a spoiler-ish video in the Wordworks, but this one's not spoiler, so so we're not going to go over it. So let's take Al out of the equation, because obviously we can't go over too much on why, aside from the fact that he fought a specific character for 4.5 months without stop, and is yet to have looked like he's even broken a sweat. So I'll put it in those words, but to kind of have a replacement for him and having a second place just to keep everything similar, who would you say has mental fortitude from Arc 6 to Arc 1? So everyone kind of knows more or less what arcs we're going over.
Oh, if it's only up to Arc 6, because if it was up to Arc 8, I would have said Priscilla for the stuff that she pulled at the end, which honestly that takes a lot of strength to do it.
Yeah, shit, you're right. Huh. Fucking hell, Priscilla Kemp has oddly mental strength people. What the hell? Or at least the top two. But okay. No,
I mean, you could say she's consistent throughout all of it. She just never stopped once. She never questions herself. She never doubts herself. She just keeps pushing through with her vision without letting anybody dictate to her what's right or wrong.
Yeah, I was gonna say Arc 5. Like, she's confident as hell. Like, even when things look dire, she's like not even phased by anything. Hell, she wasn't even phased by frickin' Sirius's ability. So yeah, you know what? Priscilla gets this one. Like Priscilla is, I have a friend who does not like Priscilla, and I'm like, I get it. Her personality does not resent with people, but I've always said with Priscilla, she can back up her shit talking, and it's pretty amusing. But no, yeah, Priscilla gets #1 spot for sure, even more than Al, I would think. That's personal opinion, by the way. I don't want to get flamed on the comments. But what about our second place?
That one is actually tougher.
Excluding Al, because obviously he'd get it. Let's make it more interesting. I would like. I was gonna say, would you think Roswell could be a contender for second?
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go with the dark horse here and actually say Otto.
Shit, you might be onto something. I'll let you explain to the viewer why you're going with that one.
Well,
Otto.
the thing is, a lot of people keep forgetting that what Otto is, he is a coward. He is undisputably a coward. Nobody can deny that. I mean, with some of the shit that he pulled before he joined the Amelia camp. But then afterwards, once he does join, he has an insanely high strength of will that allows him to go with Subaru shenanigans, but also he's technically a secondary rem in which he keeps Subaru honest. It was him who actually enabled Subaru to beat Arc 4 with, you know, the punch and the speech.
He was essentially the one that knocked some sense into Subaru, so it makes sense. Not to mention, I mean, he even sacrificed himself and got killed by Garfield in one loop, and he probably knew he was gonna die.
But it's the fact that he knows that nothing is going to end well for him, but he keeps going anyways. That is, he may be a coward, but he also embodies true courage. Which is having fear and yet going through with it anyways.
Yeah, I think people forget. Having courage is not necessarily having no fear. That's just being fearless. No, courage is being able to do the things you need to do despite being afraid.
Yeah, which honestly, #1 obviously goes to Subaru, but #2 would be Otto.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Subaru was going to either get mental or emotional strength, but since we made the rule, only one per category, it makes sense having Otto there. Not to mention, I mean, Otto was, like, ready to die in most occasions from Arc 4, even Arc 5, considering all the shit he has to go through there.
And also, don't forget, he gets verbally abused, like, every other minute, so...
I feel like at that point, because I can relate to Otto to that degree, since every freaking group I'm in, even family, I get completely bullied to hell. I think it's just more playfulness than anything, but yeah, you have to have a bit of a stones to just deal with it. But yeah, alright, there we go. So we obviously knew that Reinhardt was going to get physical strength. Like, I mean, he's proclaimed as the strongest character in ReZero by Tape, so I mean, it would make sense that he'd be #1 on that. And then #2 was Cecilis, his rival. And then for emotional strength, we have Subaru as #1, and then Krush as #2. I feel like people might argue that Krush might be #1 compared to Subaru there, but I think considering the shit that Subaru deals with at a basis, might put him at an edge. And by Krush, I mean Arc 3 Krush. And then for mental strength, #1 we have Priscilla, unless we're talking about Al Arc 9, then I mean it's a tie between the two. And then for #2 is Otto Suin from the Amelia camp. Honestly, yeah. I'm pretty satisfied, and obviously for anyone who, in the comments, you can obviously say why you think something else, because you know. Everyone is entitled to their own opinions. This is our collective opinion together. So
yeah, I mean, we won't argue if you say for mental strength Roswald for having to endure centuries of, you know, what he did, or even Beatrice. I mean,
I think I don't know about Patrice, because I mean she kind of just wanted to die at that point, and I don't know if that's even mental fortitude at that point.
Well, the thing is, she still endured centuries of loneliness.
That's true.
and that she only broke at that point. That was the thing. It only happened in Arc 4. Before Arc 4, she was still.
Well, no. Well, if she saw someone die, it kind of breaks her mental fortitude, though, because she doesn't like that at all.
Well, no, I mean when Subaru died in Arc 2, she was just kind of
Depressed.
she was just kind of she was just iffy about it, but
No,
like she wasn't too
she
sure
was
because
affected because she definitely wanted. She felt like Subaru was that person.
Mhm.
But yeah, I can agree with what you're essentially saying for her. Like she has the fortitude. I just think when people she's somewhat close with die, I think that kind of goes out the window.
Yeah.
And I think Roswell, though, the only argument against Roswell is if anything with his teachers brought up, then he kind of just not necessarily handles that at a better point.
Or his gospel got destroyed.
Yeah, he kind of lost the school there. But all right then, that is the official list of ours in this channel, the Green Warrington I1 channel, and MegaZero's list. If you have anything else to add in, feel free to say in the comments. Please like and subscribe, and we will see y'all in another fun little discussion video.
Right.